Hello and welcome to Draw Cartoons. It's time for the November Discord Art Showcase. It's been a tough choice as ever this month. Thank you again for your wonderful submissions. Keep them coming. If you enjoyed this video, please click that blue thumbs up. It really does help the channel more than you might think it does. And if you haven't already, please be sure to hit that subscribe button to make sure that you catch all of my future videos. All right, let's get into it. First up is a zombie Viking by Jose. This apparently isn't actually in the game, so this is really more of a concept than anything else. The likeness of the zombies from the games is really good. There are very cool details here, like the patterns on the helmet and on the axe, and a good muted choice of colors here as well. That's not to be overlooked. It's very easy to overdo it with very high saturation on your colors, especially in digital art, but you've managed to avoid that. The shading is appropriately soft in places as well. Again, something that's very easy to overdo, but you've done a great job here. Here we have two really nice pieces of art by This A Bucket. This one over here on the left, you might recognize them immediately. This is Sans from Undertale. There's an extremely good likeness here and the symmetry is pretty good. Not overdone it on the shading, although there are little bits that could do with a bit of shadow, such as where the arms fold over the chest, just right there in the middle, and maybe the bottoms of the shoes as well. But overall, I appreciate this one in its simplicity. On the right here, we have a more original piece by This A Bucket. Someone wearing some huge shoes, stripy socks, a baggy hoodie, and having a planet either as a head or over their head. Whatever this is, it really impressed me. I love the artistic style of it. The really bold outline around everything that gives it so much dimension and shape, whereas the lines on the inside are quite narrow in comparison. The blue and the red just clash and contrast with each other perfectly. Everything that's right aligned has that blue, and everything that's left aligned has that red. It's a piece that's genuinely quite, sometimes I hate this term, but arty, because it is. It provokes thought. It's impressive and it's well composed, and this one just really caught my eye. This is great. Next up is this piece by Riona, and wow, they've really delivered on that classic kind of manga slash anime style here. This is a character from Looking for Paradise, and the colors and the overall softness to the image, thanks to the use of bright colors, is just really eye-catching. I'm getting that kind of 80s anime vibe from this, you know, like Sailor Moon kind of style. I've not seen this anime. That's probably the time period that it's from, but the shine on the hair is really good. You've started to combine light with dark there. You can see how there's shadows sitting right below those most brightest parts, and that's quite an advanced artistic technique, and it gives things a lot of shape and flow. This is not something I've covered in my tutorials yet, but this is something that you already have a grasp over. The foreshortening on the arm as well is really impressive. That's also extremely hard to do, so you are making excellent progress. I can't wait to see more. Nathan Spears has been busy once again, and this time they're bringing us a drawing of Shaggy. With his hair that color, he really does look like he's about to go Super Saiyan. If you have no idea what I'm talking about there, then you probably don't spend as much time on the internet as I do. Anyway, this is really good. There is an excellent likeness here. Nathan, your art is really wowing me. You've put a load of really good stuff on the Discord, and it's all fantastic. Don't be afraid to experiment with your shadows. You could do with a little bit of shading right there underneath his chin, just on his neck, and maybe at the lower parts of his hair as well. I mean, you've gotten this far with it, right? You've inked it, you've colored it. Why not take it that one step further? Look how colorful these trainers are. Look at these. I love that Nike tick with the kind of drip thing going on, like literal drips. I'm not cool enough to use the slang. The complementary color of the, you know, the orangey yellow and just straight up orange against the blue backdrop as well is very eye-catching in its own right. While I'm not sure I would wear these shoes myself, they are a spectacular design. They're really cool looking. I just had to showcase these. Clothing can be cartoons as well, you know. Calron, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I understand what's going on here. I assume this is some sort of reference to something. We've got like a medieval Homer Simpson looking guy over here on the right about to chop some monster, but looking pretty terrified of it. Understandably, that thing's terrifying. Look at those teeth. Whatever this is, it's brilliant. I just don't know what it is. Some lost Simpsons episode or some new one that I've not seen yet. Either way, this is brilliant. I love the coloring on it. The expression work is excellent. The monster is terrifying. It's like something out of a nightmare. Yeah, just brilliant. Oh, and I did notice the giant donut in the background as well. We have two pieces from AMACD today. Over here on the left is a redo of some old art that they did. They drew Foxy from Five Nights at Freddy's, but the likeness is so good here that you probably didn't need me to say who they are. The detail here is phenomenal, if a bit spooky, but it really does the character justice. The character is not meant to look friendly. The background is very sinister, with it also being red and cloudy and having a dark vignette around the edges, but it might be a little too saturated and it draws attention a little bit away from Foxy. Nonetheless, this is a really good piece. Amazing work on the shadows and the detail here. Over there on the right, we have one of a bunch of similar portraits that AMACD did that really caught my eye. They did a set of characters like this that look like they belong in some kind of independent visual novel of sorts. All of the designs were unique and fresh and interesting, and they had almost like a professional look about them. If you take these and you refine your line work a little bit, you'll have some lovely portraits. That background is the opposite of the one on the left here. It's very undistracting, it's very plain, and it keeps you looking at the character, and that could be very important, especially in these portrait images. Marat Kakar has done this wonderful digital painting of Iron Man. I love the light and shadow, I love the soft gradient background that doesn't distract from the main image. The light just glowing out of the eyes, the mouth, the heart, even a bit of light coming from the gloves there. There's just really good progress coming on here. It's a little bit asymmetrical, but I think that's actually intended with the artistic style. Iron Man really does look metallic in this piece, so excellent work on that. I would say sharpen up a few of those lights over there on the shoulder pads and on the arms, give it a bit more metallic sheen, and then wash it over with a noisy layer, just to kind of give it that extra texture it needs, you know? Otherwise, yeah, just wonderful to look at. More wonderful pixel art from 25 inches. 25 inches, you have made stunning progress in pixel art. I love the very soft and muted choice of colors here. There's only 4 colors here, excluding the background. You've got the outline, which they could have done with a very dark pink here, but that wouldn't even be necessary. Somehow this dark blue just really works in terms of its contrast. The lighting is very soft and sparing, just up there in that top left corner, not overdoing it, not underdoing it. And I love how, if you notice, with the light and with the shadow on this character, they've actually left the edge untouched, which is brilliant. That's exactly what you should do, because it gives the character a sense of roundness. You call that occlusive light. It's just a bit of light peeking past the character from behind them. Any rounded shape will generally do this. Yeah, lovely work. JD, I think this is my favorite drawing of Sonic by you yet. Something about the blue that you've used here, it's not Sonic's usual blue. I don't know what it is, but it just really works. The thumb pointing to himself, that hand just looks really good. If I have some feedback for you, look at the feet. The heel of his right foot should be in front of the other heel, so to speak. You've got the sock of the shoe in front, but then the heel of the other shoe is kind of in front. It's better to just stick with some consistency there. Other than that though, you've been making leaps and bounds in your art as always. Keep it up, you are improving rapidly. Last but certainly not least, we have a piece by Ajman, a very dark and haunting piece. This is quite intense to look at, with the very bright and saturated orange in the background as if the world itself is on fire. Charlie Brown has seen better days, but he looks incredibly menacing, and since that's what you were going for in this piece, kudos. I'm probably a bit late to showcase this one. I think this one was more intended for Halloween, but nonetheless it absolutely deserves a spot on the showcase because there's quite a lot to point out here. I love the interesting choice as well of the blackened out hands and legs there. I can't tell if they're charred or if they're meant to be enveloped in shadow somehow. The texture with the vignette around the edges of the piece are very cool as well, and that smile is absolutely terrifying. Loving the creativity on show here. This is clearly inspired by Bendy and the Dark Revival. It's your own kind of parody version with Charlie Brown, and parody artwork absolutely belongs on this Discord channel and this YouTube channel. And that is it for this month's Draw Cartoons Art Showcase. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. It really does help me out, and I will see you again soon.